know, my head is just in this by the looks of it. Okay, so Pilates level 3. You can see I've got my blocks and cushions here. Remember, if you don't have a block, a hardback book is just absolutely fine. We do need, well, you don't need, it's up to you whether you do or not, but in the workout, we are going to be using some weights. So I'm going to be using just a couple of cans of beans. You can use your dumbbells, you could use bands, whatever is comfortable. You could even use water bottles, just make sure they're equally the same weight, or you can use a set of cans like I'm going to do. Because the only weights I've got are like relatively, well, they're not even that heavy, but they're heavy enough that I do not want to have a go at doing it. So let's go through our basics. If you're injured, no, bench it. You shouldn't be doing this, okay? If anything feels uncomfortable at any point, then you take a breather, you take time, you stop. Remember, there is alternatives and adjustments given all the way through, so just listen closely and adapt if you need to. So we're going to start with our mobility, getting our body alive and awake and ready for our level 2/3 workout. So I'm turning to a side because we're going to start with our feet hip distance apart. And remember, a good gauge to do that is to just take your thumb, your little finger, sit it over your toes and let your little toes just sit in between those 2 points, okay? And you can use that gauge throughout the chest session to just check. So we've got them hip distance apart and we want to soften our knees just slightly and we want to begin to rock the pelvis. So we're rocking that pelvis backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. And remember that movement is individual, so we're all different. So for some people, their pelvis, they might have a really big tuck under and tuck back, and some of us, it might be quite small. Mine's quite small, so just nice and steady, rocking it back and forth, bringing that movement in there. We're waking up that synovial fluid in the lower back, in the lumbar region. So that synovial fluid, it helps with our movement, frees things up. So we are just working on waking that up. Nice and steady. Now let's just have 2 more of these little tucks. And on the last one, tuck it under and hold it in place. Now, once you've tucked it under and you've held it in place, it should feel slightly different to your normal posture, okay? So we're holding it there. We've got an ever such a slightness of softness in the knees. Shoulder blades back and down. I'm turning to face you. Let us focus on our lateral breath to begin with. So hands come to the rib cage. Let us breathe in through our nose and out through the mouth. So remember, we want to be feeling that expansion and contraction of the rib cage as we breathe in and out. It's not huge. It's slightly different to probably how we normally breathe. Most of us breathe shallow breaths, so that we're just like literally coming into like where the collarbone is at the very top of the chest. We want to be getting it into the lungs. And then relax your hands down, maintaining that lateral breathing all the way through. The next thing I want you to do is give me some beautiful double chins. So just squeeze your chin into your chest, stretching out the back of the neck and along the shoulders, and then release. Squeeze in and release. Squeeze in and release. Squeeze in and release. Just 3 more for me. Squeeze it in, release. This is nice for getting rid of tension in the neck and shoulders. Last one, and then release. Cervical rotation, so just rotating the head to the right, back to the center, and then over to the left. So nice and steady. Breathing out as you do so. So breathing out as you turn to the side, breathing in through the nose as we come through the center. I don't know whether you can hear the noise in the background today. Something's going on with my neighbour's roof. So there's some chaps out there taking care of it. Every now and again I can just hear their banter because they're quite chatty. and then random noise of a gas equipment. So one more to the right, so I apologise if you can hear it. One more to the left, and bring it back. Shoulder rolls, let's lift up to the ears, draw them back and down. Oh, that feels lovely. So inhale up and down. Inhale up and down. So just releasing into the shoulders. 3 more. Last 2. Drawing those shoulder blades back and down together. Last 1. And relax. Okay, I just want you to drop your chin to your chest. And I want you to just roll your head. So you're taking your right ear to your right shoulder and then let it roll along the chest. So left ear comes to the left shoulder. So just roll in the neck, along the chest. Just a few of those for me. And one last time. Take it over to the left. And then bring the head to the center, lift up, hands on the shoulders, rotation, knees soft, let's rotate to the right. Remember, if we've got osteoporosis, we want to, I need to step forward because I'm hitting the wall. We want to keep the hips facing, we're not worrying about the hips moving if we've got osteoporosis. But if we do not have osteoporosis, we're just not encouraging the hips to shift, okay? So you may be shifting, if you've got osteoporosis, there may be some rotation going on there, that's okay. I don't want you to worry about that movement. If you do not have a diagnosis of osteoporosis, then I want you to just be conscious of encouraging the hips to not move. So nice and steady. Again, I'm breathing out, breathing in. One last time to the right, one last time to the left. Hands back, bring it down. Lateral glides, let's slide down and up. Now we're aiming to go at equal distance on both sides. This is why it's good. If you've got a mirror whilst you're doing these little videos, it is good to have that so you can see what you're doing, just to check. Because sometimes we think what we're doing and what we're actually doing are 2 very different things. So if you have got a mirror, it is useful. I get to see myself on the camera, unfortunately, so I can see how terrible I look or whether I'm slightly out. And it's brilliant because it does make you realise like how much you may need to adjust. Sometimes you're just, you know, we're not always conscious of what our body's doing, even though we think we may be. So let's have 1 more to the right, 1 more to the left. And then let us bring our hands across the chest and turning to a side again. Moving back onto my mat, we're going for our monkey squats, okay? So hands across the chest, we're going to push our bum out behind us. Take a deep breath and exhale. So nice and steady. Check that as you come down, you can see your toes. If you cannot see your toes, you need to push that bottom further back, okay? So breathing in, breathing out. Now, if we've got shoulder issues, we're going to keep our arms in place. If we've got no shoulder issues, let us bring our arms in, let's swing them back, lift them up, swing them back with control. And I've just realised I forgot to talk about pelvic floor and abdominal connection, haven't I? I went straight from lateral breathing into, so naughty, slap Gemma's wrists. So at this point, as you're monkey squatting, you should be pulling in your pelvic floor. So let's have 1 more. And exhale. Last one. Exhale. So you should be pulling in the pelvic floor from the back of the bottom. Think of it as an elevator. So when you contract at the back, you're lifting that lift up to the first floor. When you pull into the middle, you're at the second floor. When you pull into the third, you're lifting up to the third floor, so feeling that pull. Belly button is pulling in towards the spine, and we're keeping it nice and strong. Now, because you guys are all /2/3, even though I forgot to mention the pelvic floor and abdominal connection, you will have been on it straight away because you're level 2/3. Otherwise, if you wasn't, you're like me, where you're like, la la la, let's get straight into it. I apologise. So now we've got that connection and we're nice and strong. Let's have some easy peelers. Bring your feet together, hands on the hips, tailbone under. Peel the heel, keeping the hips level, shoulders level. And we're coming into the balls of the feet, the front of the toes, nice and steady, controlled. Now, can we go a little bit quicker? Bring a little bit more energy in. Keeping everything level. It's when we go faster, we tend to lose our stability a little bit, and then relax. Take the legs wide. Sassy walk. This is our free walk, our freestyle. We let the hips sway. We let the arms sway. But even though we're sassy walking and we're letting our body be free, that pelvic connection is going on. That tailbone is tucked under. So remember, think of it as that elevator, that 1, 2, 3, pulling and lifting up to each level, pulling that belly button in towards the spine. Easy peelers, and then into sassy walk, and then relax. Roll it out, shake it out, ready for our workout. I'm going to stop right there. This is part 1 mobility, then we're going to go straight into the rest of it. So just get yourself, if you don't have to stop and move into position, just get yourself so your feet are hip distance apart, and we'll take it from there. So well done on part 1, and apologies for me being a dodo.